Is that okay?
How's that?
For everybody?
Good?
Yeah. Just give me one second. Anybody has any questions?
Senator, you mentioned the importance of improving the state's education system. What specific policies would you like to see state lawmakers adopt in order to do that?
Well, I can tell you that I'm sure that this legislature, they're working hard with their different school districts to decide what's right in each and every district. In our rural districts, if we don't get rural broadband out to our schools so the schools can improve what they're doing out there and try to increase access for that, that's one issue. Clark County may have different issues. So I'm going to let the governor and the school districts work on that. But what I can do on the federal level is be sure that we invest in partnerships K through 12, like my Building Blocks of STEM, that's going to help increase STEM education opportunities in the K through 12 arena. The other thing I think we can really do is to create that platform and foundation for a people pipeline in career and technical education. It's really important. Here in Nevada, we have a huge labor shortage. We have a shortage in our medical field, all across the board, not just physicians, physical therapists, technologists. We have shortage of teachers. And so the list goes on and on. And so by creating a good foundation, K through 12, expanding the spectrum of education in all other areas, and we can create the pipeline of people that will continue to grow Nevada's businesses.
You also said you were going to hold the administration accountable for the secret plutonium shipments. How do you plan to do that?
Well, I can tell you that the Nevada delegation, we had a classified briefing with the Department of Energy on the secret plutonium shipment. Attorney General Ford has already just introduced an injunction against future shipments. He just told us today, I believe, and so we're going to work with him on that. I spoke with the governor just this afternoon. We determined a few more questions that I'd like to ask the Department of Energy about what they plan to do, and if they're planning anything, and then what we'll do is come back with the governor and decide what we can do on a federal level to stop them in partnership with the Attorney General and the governor, because we don't want secret shipments of plutonium coming here. First of all, they're going across our highways, our railways, through so many states between the East Coast and here. That's not safe, and it's not safe for us to have it here in Nevada.
What about Yucca Mountain?
Pardon me?
What about Yucca Mountain?
Now, Yucca Mountain, I believe, is not going to go any place in the House of Representatives. And so last year they had Congressman Shimkus, who was really pushing for that. Of course, they're no longer in the majority. So I think that we're not going to see the funding there in the House, but what I can tell you what we've done so far, we reintroduced the Consent-Based Nuclear Waste Act. There are places that want nuclear waste. New Mexico, Texas. Somebody wants it, we should be able to give them the opportunity to take it. The second bill that we reintroduced, excuse me, was one I put in last session, which is the Jobs Not Waste Act. What that means is we put a lot of money into Yucca Mountain. And what happens in the center of Nevada is important to our nation's security, with the Nevada Test and Training Range, Creech, Nellis, Fallon, Hawthorne Army Depot, the Nevada test site. And so what we can do perhaps is repurpose Yucca Mountain for something to do with the military, safe data storage. You know, there's no shortage of data, especially confidential data from the military. Perhaps that's a safe space for us to put it. So what we want to do is have the Department of Energy look at some other options for us to repurpose Yucca Mountain and let that waste go someplace else.
Senator Cortez Masto is refusing to support the DOE's nominees as a way to protest the plutonium shipment. Do you plan to do that?
Well, I'm going to take a look at each nominee as they stand, and what I want to tell you is this, is that if I feel that they're not going to put Nevada's interests first, my job as a senator is to be sure that I take care of Nevada's families. And so that's our job number one, Catherine Cortez Masto and myself. So I'm going to look at these nominees, and if I don't believe them when I meet with them and look them in the eye, then I'm not going to vote for them, because I'm not going to make something unsafe for Nevada.
So you're not doing a blanket refusal?
No.
What are your thoughts on the President's emergency declaration at the border wall and the veto that followed?
Well, it's not an emergency. The President said so himself. In one of his first statements, he said, He knew it was an emergency, he just did it because he wanted to do it faster. That's not an emergency. So what we need to do, he needs to come back to Congress and talk about how we have comprehensive bipartisan immigration reform, one that does secure our borders, but also allows pathways to citizenship, protects our dreamers. We have TPS workers that have been here for 10, 15 years or more. And so we need a comprehensive plan to be sure that people can come into this country seeking asylum, can come into this country because that is who America is. That's what we were founded on. That's what we were built on. It's what made us great. And so the president should not be circumventing the Congress in this regard. He lost in the Senate, and in the House he vetoed it. It's going to come back to the House and the Senate. We'll see what happens.
A question on housing affordability, and this is more of a local issue, but I understand that the federal government at times can aid on that. I'm coming from Reno. This is a big issue in the fact that Reno is facing a major affordability issue for a number of people. In your capacity as a newly sworn U.S. Senator, what can we expect from your office in the near future?
We've been able to do in the past programs like NeighborWorks and Nevada Hand when I was a congresswoman down in southern Nevada. So we try to provide grants and opportunities to support those developers in doing low-income housing and being sure that we have housing across the spectrum, because it's great to have growth and have businesses come, but if teachers can't live in the neighborhood, if nurses can't live in the neighborhood, people who work there can't live there, then that's not a healthy community. So what we can do is try to provide those incentives on the federal level to help our cities with that.
Senator, the Green New Deal concept is...
Pardon me, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
The Green New Deal concept is supposed to come up in the Senate up for a vote. Mr. McConnell said he's going to just put it up for a vote. How do you plan to vote on that when that comes up?
Well, I'm going to see exactly what Senator McConnell's going to put up on the floor. Senator McConnell sometimes has a way of slipping a few extra things in there, and so we'll see what he actually puts on the floor and how we feel about it.
As a concept, do you think a multi-billion or multi-trillion-dollar investment in clean energy is needed to tackle climate change? I
think climate change is real. I think we need to be proactive and do something about it. I think there's opportunities for us, especially here in Nevada. The Desert Research Institute down south, of course UNLV and UNR on the forefront of leading research on these areas. So I think that there's a lot of opportunities as we begin to think about new and renewable and sustainable energy for our planet. We have to do it in a measured way so that as we go forward, whatever we're changing, we'll make sure that we take care of people who might lose jobs or what unintended consequences there are. So I do believe that climate change is real. I do believe we have to have a plan, and we have to think carefully what that is.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. We don't have time anymore.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will go.
Good comeback.